Okay, here we go. Hey guys, in this video I want to talk about bulking, so doing a purposeful gaining phase and how long that phase should be for you. If you're talking about doing a bulk, you're obviously pretty serious about your training and you want to take your muscle growth to the next level. You're in the right place and you're doing the right thing. In order to maximize your muscle growth, it's very important to do a gaining phase at some point. What that means is, as I'm sure you're hopefully aware, that means you're purposefully going to put your body into a calorie surplus, which means you're going to be taking in more calories than your body burns on a daily basis in order to provide your body with enough nutrients and an excess of energy in order for it to give it what it needs to grow in the most optimal fashion. And you're going to couple that with strength and resistance training so that you can gain as much muscle as possible. So how long should that kind of phase be? What you've got to understand is gaining muscle takes a lot longer than burning body fat. If you think about a pound of body fat in comparison to like a pound of muscle mass, body fat is nowhere near as dense as muscle, and it takes a lot longer to build muscle. One thing that I heard from, I think it was 3D Muscle Journey, was that it takes, for every 4 weeks of a gaining phase, you should do 1 week of a fat loss phase. So if you were to do 12 weeks of a gaining phase, you would do 4 weeks of a fat loss phase, basically. So a 4-to-1 ratio. And that's just how long it takes. But you want to be super smart. Hopefully you've got your calories and macros calculated so that you are in a calorie surplus of just a small amount. You don't really want to try and gain too much too fast, because once you are in a calorie surplus, the more calories you give your body doesn't necessarily mean more muscle growth. It just means that potentially you're going to gain more body fat. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to track your progress, track your body weight, take some measurements, progress pictures as well, just like you would if you were on a fat loss phase, taking measurements of biceps, thighs, chest, taking pictures and take your body weight. And what you want to see is an upward trend in those measurements. And if they start to plateau over the course of several weeks, you can up your calories a little bit more, because you might find that with the extra calories, your body is actively burning a bit more calories subconsciously, and you might need to just keep upping the calories so that you stay in a surplus. So that's a few things to consider. Now, how long should a gaining phase be? So first of all, you want to make sure you're going into your gaining phase relatively lean, because you are going to gain some body fat during this period. Because you're in a calorie surplus, some of those nutrients are going to go towards muscle growth, but some of them are also going to go towards body fat. And what you want to try and do really is limit the amount that goes towards body fat, but you've got to understand that that's inevitable and that's part and parcel of doing a gaining phase. But the leaner you can start within reason, let's not be ridiculous and think we're going to go sub 10% body fat, but the leaner you can start, you get more time, and the slower you go, you get more time in that gaining phase. So that's where you really have to just take things slowly. I recommend a 200 calorie per day surplus, roughly. And again, you're going to have to adjust that as you progress, because as you become heavier, a heavier person burns more calories because they're heavier. It takes more energy to move a heavier person around, and your body is going to be fidgeting more just to keep homeostasis. So you're, like I said, subconsciously you're going to be burning more calories because your body's like, we've got too much energy coming in here. So your new maintenance is going to get pushed up, so you're going to have to potentially increase your calories again above that. So you want to take things slowly, and you want to start relatively lean, but it's very important, because the faster you go, the quicker you're going to have to end your bulk. And for no good reason, because you would have just gained too much body fat. And that's where I say, you're going to have to get to the point where you're not fully comfortable with your physique, and you do feel a little bit fluffy, you do feel a bit self-conscious and out of shape, and it's inevitable that you're going to get to that point with a bulk. If your body fat percentage gets too high, it can become unhealthy, so I do recommend not going too fast or not going for too long. You just want to go gradual. But I would say a gaining phase really should be, I'd say minimum of 4 months, and then kind of up to around 12 months, depending on how you feel about where you are at that period of point in time. I'd say 4 months would be the minimum. 8 to 12 months would be really, really good if you can dedicate that amount of time to it, because you really do have to get in the momentum of it and start to accrue that muscle mass. Training is fantastic when you're in a surplus of nutrients, and it feels amazing. And so take some pressure off of yourself. It's horrible always feeling like you're in a calorie deficit. So enjoy the time when you're not, because it really is amazing to just focus on training, be smashing PRs in the gym, you get great pumps, you feel great, you look great. And then towards the end, you do start to feel a little bit fluffy, you feel a bit self-conscious. Once you get to that point, I say push through another few months, and then you can start going into a cutting phase. Now there is things you can do like mini cuts, etc. I'm not going to discuss that in this video, or maybe I'll do another video. Message in the comments if you think a mini cut video would be helpful, and maybe I'll think about making one for you guys. But I would say, you know, do a gaining phase for a good 6 months and see how you get on. It can really change your physique. It is important, especially if you want to gain muscle, and muscle mass is important, especially as we get older, because it's only going to deteriorate the older that we get, and it's going to get harder to gain muscle. So it's important to try and get it in when you can. And you don't always want to be on a diet. I feel like for me, I've just done my first purposeful bulk like 2 years ago, and it felt great. I wish I had done it sooner, to be honest, because I feel like I've always been on a diet since I was a kid, and it sucks. You know, mentally, I feel like that. Physically, I haven't been, but mentally I have been, and it really sucks. So I suggest, if you're the one in control of a gaining phase, and you're the one in control of the scale going up, there's something about it that's just super freeing, and it feels great to be, you know, it's not like you're out of control, because you're in control. But you got to be smart with it as well. You got to be smart with your nutrition. You can't just be eating a load of crap. And you might screw it up the first time around, but you've got to be careful. I would take my advice, go slowly. 200 calories per day extra. Track your progress. Maybe you need to add another 100 calories in now and again, but take it slow. Don't do a dreamer bulk. You don't need to shovel down calories. Take it slow, and make sure the scale is just incrementally going up over time. That's all I got to say about that. Thanks for listening. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments if you'd like a video on a mini cut, and I will see you in the next one.